Cool. Okay, hello, my name is Dickens. I'm a sophomore journalism major here at the University of Missouri. I'm from Coppell, Texas, which is about 30 minutes outside of the heart of Dallas. So I'm here tonight to talk to you a little bit about the summer. And unfortunately, not about how y'all should all move to Dallas, because it'd be a better summer, but about how we're actually going to carry out all that we've learned this past year into the summer. And so let's be honest, it's a little frightening and intimidating to think that this community we have right here, and the people to your left, and the people to your right, most likely won't be there, at least physically, this summer. And so for some of us, we'll be at home with a ton of free time, or we'll be at home with no free time. Some of us will be here in Como getting residency, taking summer school, and some of us might be doing an internship in a city we've never been in, with people we've never talked to. And so, regardless of where we're at, the idea of summer can be downright intimidating. But I have some good news, and I want to let y'all in on a little secret. Just as God's love never changes, nor do the ways we grow closer to Him. So you see, that's incredibly good news, because as Ryan Barr talked about a couple weeks ago, about how one-on-one interactions are the best way to bring others to Christ, here in Como, it's the same exact thing no matter where you're at this summer. That doesn't change. And just as Dale a couple weeks ago talked about what makes God so attractive, He's just as attractive here as He is where you'll be this summer, and no matter what point or part of your life you're at. And so, what I want y'all, to know is that the people surrounding you this summer might be different, but our God is forever the same. And so yes, you won't have E3 to come to every Wednesday. You might not have discipleship to go to once a week, or however you've been growing this semester and this whole school year. But if that hunger inside of you to grow stays there and remains, then you'll grow no matter where you are. And so you'll grow by going to daily Mass, or Mass on Sundays. You can grow by taking time out of your day to go to prayer. Or you can grow by keeping in contact with those you're in discipleship with, or maybe picking an accountability partner or friend to text you and be like, hey, are you going to daily Mass? Are you praying? And you can grow in a lot of ways. But that hunger to grow has to remain. And so in Proverbs it says, the laborer's appetite works for him, but his hunger drives him on. Again, the laborer's appetite works for him, but his hunger drives him on. And so what does that mean? I'm going to give you a little example of what that means, and I'm going to tell you a story. So if y'all know me, I'm very competitive. Like, I hate losing. That is my number one pet peeve. And so, me and 3 other friends decided to play Monopoly last year. Just an innocent game of Monopoly. Except I had never played before. So I got smoked. Like, I was out in 30 minutes, if that. And so, I went back and I watched the rest of the game with them, just sitting there having a good time. But each and every minute that passed, my hunger to win grew and grew and grew. And it got so bad that I actually went home that night and downloaded Monopoly onto my computer. And I would make sure I played at least twice a day before bed. And if you play Monopoly, that's a long time. But I played, and I played. And we played again next week, me and my 3 friends. And I told them I would beat them in under an hour. And I beat them in 35 minutes. But the saddest part is, like, we would get there and they would make a move and I'd be like, the computer would have done something different. But the point of that is not to tell you that you shouldn't play me in Monopoly. The point of that is to tell you that my hunger to win grew so much that it drove me on to literally practice twice a night in a college schedule. faith life too. If our hunger to bring others closer to Jesus Christ and for ourselves to grow closer to Jesus Christ remains, then we're going to do that no matter where we're at. And so that's my first challenge to you, is to maintain that hunger inside of you and to keep it there. And so my second challenge to you guys is to be process-driven and not product-driven. I know that sounds really weird. You're probably wondering what that means. But it's something looking back on my life that I see most apparent. You see, my faith journey started my senior year of high school when my best friend, Brendan, went to my house before midnight mass, knocked on my door, asked my parents if I could go, then came up to my room, knocked on my door, and dragged me out of my room and took me. And I went to mass. And I loved it. And then he passed the torch off to Bree, who I ended up dating. And if we're being honest, I would go back to mass, partially because of her, but partially because I wanted to know why it was so important to her. I didn't understand it, but I wanted to know. And so they asked me to join our CA. Both of them did, for my freshman year of college, which was last year. And I told them no. Not only did I reject God, but I rejected my best friend and my girlfriend at the time. And so then fast forward to this year. And Braxton, who's a focus missionary here at Mizzou, for those who don't know, asked me to join our CA again. And I said yes. And I'm sure it brought him so much joy to see someone he cared for so much finally say yes to surrendering their whole life to Jesus Christ. But for Brendan and Bree, they didn't get to see that. They didn't get to see that, where I finally said yes. Sure, they got to hear about it, but they didn't get to see it. But that doesn't mean what they did wasn't as important. I would actually argue it was equally as important. Because if it wasn't for them, Braxton would never have the opportunity to have when he had, and I said yes. And so we were at SLS, I'm going to say like 30 of us, over the winter, which is a 5-day conference in Dallas. And one of the speakers equated it to a fire. So someone goes out and they get the kindling and they have to light it. And then eventually one person's going to be able to strike the match and light it. And then it's going to set a fire. But if it wasn't for those who lay the kindling, the fire is never going to start. And if it does, it's not going to be maintained. And so Bree and Brendan laid that kindling for me just so Braxton could then light it. And what I want you all to know is that this summer, whether it's a family member or a friend, if you present the gospel to them and they say no, it was not for nothing. I promise you that. It is going to have an impact on them. Maybe not right then, but in the future. You are laying that kindling, so do not get discouraged if someone says no. And keep trying. And it doesn't have to look like what Brendan did for me, where he went to my house and knocked on my door. It might be just a simple conversation, like Ryan talked about, just a one-on-one conversation. It doesn't have to be anything heroic. And so, understand that. And my third point, this is one that I think I want to challenge you all the most on, because it is the one that I struggle with the most. And I think it's important, because if you don't get this, then you're missing the whole point. And it's who God says you are. Who God says you are. So whenever someone asks me to give this talk, or someone asks me to lead a Bible study, or someone asks me to do anything within the church, I would immediately shy away. I would say, why me? I was confirmed Catholic not even 2 months ago. Look at the people. Look at the people you have in this community. Why would you want me to do it? But you see, whenever I thought that, what I was essentially saying was, Jesus, you're inviting me to do something. You're telling me to do something, but I'm telling you no, because I think my plan is greater than yours. And that's not true. You see, Madeline might have given me the invitation to give this talk, But it was really Jesus' greater plan that had us all planned out. And so, I want y'all to know something, and that's that I see a piece of my journey in each and every one of you guys. In each and every one of y'all. And I mean that. I really do. And I want y'all to know that you can bring the ultimate truth to others, but you must know who God says you are. And in John 15, he calls you his child. He calls you his friend. And in 1 Corinthians, he says that each and every one of us is united to him. So do not let the devil play tricks and say that you cannot do it this summer. You cannot grow closer to him, because that's simply not true. If you don't believe me, look at me. I'm here because of you guys. And I don't say that as if to use this as my opportunity to thank you all. I say that because it's nice to see something tangible. I am here because of you guys. And y'all can do that for someone this summer. And if you don't believe me, look at me. And so what y'all really did is y'all brought Jesus to me. Sorry guys. St. John 23rd said, "The secret of everything is to let oneself be carried by God, and so to carry him to others." And in every interaction I had with y'all, that's what y'all did. Just by talking to me. Y'all brought him to me. And y'all can do that for others this summer. And so what y'all did is y'all showed me that I am not Rick, the college baseball player. Or, well, I'm not. Rick the baseball I am not Rick the average student. And I am not Rick the average rec basketball player who can't shoot. What y'all showed me is that I'm Rick, the child of God, who is united with him and his friend and someone he loved before I even loved him. But if you still don't believe me, totally fair. Totally fair. After all, I was just initiated into the church, so. But please believe Jesus. I plead you to believe Jesus. Because in John 15, he says, "You did not choose me, but I chose you." I'm going to say that again because it's a little hard to understand. He says, "You did not choose me, but I chose you." So he's saying, before you even loved me, before you even knew who I was, before you had First Communion, before you were confirmed, I loved you. And I still love you. And what he goes on to say even after that is even greater. He says, "You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you, so that you may go and bear fruit that will last." So understand that. He has literally appointed you. It's not like he picked you to do it. He appointed you, meaning he gave you all the power necessary to go and bear fruit, but not only bear fruit that will last. So this summer, don't feel like everything you did right here this whole year was for nothing. Because Jesus himself says, "I have appointed it to you that you will bear fruit that will last." And you can do the same exact thing this summer to others. And so I want you all to take this time of adoration to really draw a game plan. A game plan of what y'all want to do this summer. How you're going to grow closer to him. Is it going to be going to daily mass, adoration, mass once a Sunday? Are you feeling called to share the good news with someone? I want you to hash that out. And before that, I want to leave you with one final quote. A quote that I got from SLS, as it was just rolling across the screen amongst cheesy pictures and hashtags. And it's something that is constantly stuck in my mind whenever I feel like I'm not Catholic enough, whenever I feel like I'm not good enough. And it reads, "Spread the gospel as if your life depends on it, because someone's eternal life does." Thank you.